Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the SoCal Prep Report. Richard Stradlin along with Bob Gibson and Randy Rosenblum. Mo Orr on vacation this week. Look at Mo taking a vacation, the busiest part of the year, guys. What about that?
Red Sox parade in back in Boston.
He's nuts. Was he rooting for the Red Sox?
I think he was.
No.
Big Red Sox guy.
And he couldn't take the pressure of all these playoff games.
All right, Mo Orr at the SoCal Prep Report. You want to send him some hate mail? I certainly would, but I know he's a Dodger fan, so let's no nonsense here.
You love the
I'd like to
Red
thank you
Sox.
for joining us tonight. It is the opening round of the C.I.F. Southern Section playoffs coming up this Friday night, and of course the City Section is also involved in a big playoff hunt, and City Section's kind of wild. We're going to get into that with Randy here in a couple seconds, but right now we have to get into it. There's 13 divisions plus the City Section tonight. A lot of graphic work. Get ready. Here we come. Strap it on. All right, let's look at Division 1, and let's have a look at what's going on here. Of course, St. John Bosco is the top seed. They're going to take on Sarah. Whoever Bosco's going to play in this upper division, fellas, you disagree with me if you want. St. John Bosco runs all the way to the finals, and we'll stick with the lower bracket. What are you guys thinking?
Now, Bosco has an easy road to the finals here. I think it'll be Bosco and Jay Sarah, and when it gets down to it. But I don't think Jay Sarah has any shot this
Bosco
time around.
and Jay Sarah, you just said?
Bosco, Jay,
All right.
Sarah
All right.
in the semis on that side.
Okay.
On that side of the bracket.
And St. John Bosco just doesn't lose playoff games, certainly in early rounds. They're going to get to the finals.
All right, who's going to face them in the semis here, do you think, Randy?
Well, that's more of a challenge. That's a little bit more difficult. I kind of like San Clemente to slip in there and make some hay. I think they're going to make a nice move in the Division I upper bracket.
What happened to Chaminade, your boy Ed Crozier?
Well, I do love Ed Crozier. He won a lot of championships at Birmingham in the city. He's won a state title at Chaminade. I think he's got a great chance against Oaks. Now, Oaks is the favorite. They're playing at home. But that would not shock me if Ed's able to pull it off. He's a terrific coach.
I just wanted to make sure, because when we were talking earlier in the green room, it was a lot of straight-faced jokes going on in that room. I just wasn't sure if that was one of them, Randy.
No, Ed Crozier does a great job, and he does a great job with personnel, runs a lot of defensive packages, uses a lot of different players. He builds depths on his football team. Oaks, again, is the favorite, but Chaminade certainly has a chance.
Interesting. All right, I think it's going to be Oaks and St. John Bosco, but we'll see. You guys both disagree. I like that, because if we all agree, nobody's thinking. Let's go to Division number 2 now. The lower end. I'm sorry, lower bracket, Division 1. Valencia, that's somebody's upset special here, but I still think Mater Dei is going to get all the way to the semifinals, where Corona Centennial will be laying in wait.
That is so true. I believe that is the way it will play out as well. Mater Dei and Centennial. I don't see anybody being able to stick, though. This is not Mater Dei's year. They're playing hurt right now, missing a lot of people.
Wait a minute. They got 50 Division I guys.
Matter.
Nobody's got that kind of firepower in SoCal, except maybe Bosco.
They're missing their starting left tackle, who's out for the rest of the year. A couple guys in the defensive backfield, a couple wide receivers that are nicked up. Now, some of those guys may come back, and there's some guys that will play hurt, but it doesn't matter, because you're talking about a great Centennial team here who's just rolling everybody they play against. I mean,
they're missing a couple of guys, though.
They outscored their opponents in the league like 169-20.
Yeah, we look at
silly.
Centennial. Everybody talks about offense.
Yeah, might have been.
But I'm going to talk about Centennial's defense. I know Matt Logan is known for his wide open attack offensively, but Centennial of Corona has 45.5 sacks this year on defense. They get to the quarterback. They get after you. I know, Rich, you saw them play earlier in the year against Narbonne. They have athletes all over the field. Centennial, to me, is a lock to get to the semifinals. That Mater Dei game's tricky against Valencia. They'll win the game. The Vikings have been a great Foothill League team for many, many years. They're 7-3 this year. They didn't have a great out-of-conference schedule, and they lost those games. They did very well in the Foothill League. They're going to be playing at home because they won their league title, but Mater Dei's too strong. It will be Mater Dei and Centennial.
Well, the underground high school betting line is a 49-6 win. That's all I'm saying. That's
I'll go with that.
I saw.
Underground.
I will not promote that site, but I'm just telling you right now, it's 49-6 is supposed to be that final score. We'll see how close they come.
So who takes this whole thing? Who takes this?
I like Centennial simply because they give you a different look. It's the same offense run by two different quarterbacks, two different running backs. They swap every series, whether it's 3 and out or the guy goes 12 and scores a touchdown, or 12 and out. They switch so everybody knows they're going to play. Everybody has opportunity in that team. Therefore, everybody has to stay sharp. So Centennial has a lot. It's the system they run that works. They don't have all the D1 athletes modern day. Bosco have, IMG Academy, Infinite et al., whatever you want to say. But the system works because Logan cannot win 10, 12 C.I.F championships, be a national champion, a state champ, if it's the system. It has to be the system.
I think Centennial runs everybody here. I think they beat Bosco in the final. I think Centennial's
They owe them. They owe them
Yep,
because
I think
last year.
Centennial's year.
So you're saying that Centennial's going to win the mythical national championship?
I think
They
have
could.
every right.
They
I
could.
think they have every chance to.
Because
Yeah,
if they
they
beat
absolutely.
Modern Day beat
Yep.
IMG, and then if they beat Bosco in the CIF championship game, then they beat two
Right.
prior national
then
champs.
you've got to be the national.
All
champ
three
at
of
that
those
point.
schools
If they
at one
win their
time
bowl
were-
game.
Yeah.
If they, well,
all three of those schools at one time this season were ranked #1 in the country. So you got to give it to Centennial.
there's nobody up north that can even come
Yeah.
close
Well,
to what the
and
South.
they
is.
say
De La
Five
Salle's
right now.
always going to be a threat. They'll be favored over De La Salle, but you can never discount them.
I'll discount them. Just right now. All right, I got to be contrary. Division 2, Tesoro Rancho Verde. Rancho Verde is, I believe, the #1 seed. Yes, they are in this division. You see Almany Cathedral, Notre Dame, La Habra, Westlake, Los Alamitos. I got to tell you guys, I see a lot of former Division 1 schools in this bracket, most notably Westlake, Los Alamitos, and Notre Dame at one time was a Division 1, as well as Almany. So this
Madison.
is a very tough upper bracket.
I agree. I think D2 is loaded. I love this bracket. I think it's going to be the most fun tournament of all of them. And I think you could see an 8 seed here, a 7 seed. Somebody could come up and win this whole thing from out of the blue, and it really won't be out of the blue because that's how deep this bracket is.
What I like about we have intriguing matchups in the first round. I mean, La Habra and Notre Dame Sherman Oaks, those are two traditional powers meeting in the opening round. I love Kevin Rooney, the head coach at Notre Dame. He's been there better than 3 decades. He's a winner. He's had his team moving into championship play all through the years. But against La Habra, I don't know. That's a picket game, just a phenomenal game. Then on the bottom, Westlake, Los Alamitos. Los
love
Alamitos
that
has
game.
had a great year. They're 8-1-1.
Westlake's an at-large at 7-3. They're
I
an
know
at-large
that is
team.
a terrific game. There's just terrific games, as Bob alluded to, throughout that D2 bracket.
I agree. I think this is I think this is going to be a lot of fun. D2 is one really keep an eye on.
All right, in the lower bracket, Redlands, East Valley, Norco, Heritage, Upland, Edison, San Juan Hill, St. Francis, Calabasas. Now, I think Calabasas got a pretty good draw on this whole thing, I'll be honest with you. Norco's tough, Upland's tough, Edison's not as quite as tough as they normally are. Again, Norco's big game was against Corona Centennial.
Right.
They scored a few points on them. I don't know who wins this lower bracket. I don't have a favorite in this one, fellas.
Well, Calabasas struggled a little bit last week. I mean, they came close, but then they lost to Oaks Christian, so they're coming in with a loss. So they don't have the same momentum. But like you said, these are all tight games. These are all intriguing games. St. Francis has been a strong team for many, many years as well out in La Cañada. So I just think we have some really good football teams. And again, this shows the depth of the southern section in D2. So many outstanding clubs.
Let me give you a school that maybe people are kind of overlooking a little bit here. A couple of tough losses on their schedule this year. I think Upland comes out of the bottom side here.
Okay, I'll go with that. They got a
I
shot.
think Upland comes out here.
All right, interesting stuff again. I don't have a favorite. I like Norco because they played the #5 team in the country. They actually played a good schedule. And they actually showed up and scored some points. So we'll see how it goes. Norco's always a traditional power as well. Okay, after Division 3, we're going to go into the city section. Let's take a look at Division 3 real quick. Paloma Valley, Cajon, Charter Oak, Paraclete, or Paraclete as a lot of people like.
Paraclete.
I'll tell you in this one right now, if I'm going to try to pick a favorite, I'm going to tell you Paloma Valley may be tough. Cajon's the #1 seed,
Yeah,
but
Cajon's the top seed.
I like Paraclete to come out of this thing for some reason. I don't know. We'll see. They'll probably lose in the first round now.
Yeah, they've been up and down all year. I mean, Paraclete's had fabulous teams over the years. They're not as strong as they used to be. I got to go with Cajon here. I'm going to go with the chalk on that particular side of that bracket.
I'm going to go with a little bit of an upset here. Capo Valley comes out of the top side of this thing. I like Capo Valley's chances here.
All right, I can't argue with that. You got Roosevelt from Corona taking on Sierra Canyon. You got, that's a 100-mile one-way direction.
No kidding.
Moore Park taking on Hart. Downey La Mirada, and that's the closest. Those guys are like 5 miles apart. Then you got Damien Citrus Hill. In this bracket, I'm just going to go with Downey. I'm familiar with their coaching staff. I know what they do, and they played a tough preseason schedule. That's why they're not a top seed.
I like Citrus Hill here. I think they, 10-0. I think they've had a great year, and so I'll take them coming out of the bottom side. I would love to pick La Mirada. I just don't. La
2-8.
always play such that heavy non-league schedule, but I just don't think they've quite got the horses this year to make that move like they've done in previous years.
New coach too.
And I'll be different than all you. I'll go with Sierra Canyon. They've been great in recent years. They've gotten to state finals. I think the Sierra Canyon program with all their athletes, they're dangerous.
All right. Hey, let's go to the city section now, fellas, and talk a little bit of city football right now. And Randy, this is your Light Up the Scoreboard segment. Let's go to it.
Yeah, 2-0 is lighting up the scoreboard, and that's not a safety, that's a forfeit. Taft was down to 17 players, so they didn't come out and they didn't play, and then they elected not to go in the playoffs. They didn't win a football game this year. They didn't score a whole lot of points.
This is Taft we're talking about.
This is Taft Woodland Hills, a traditional power. The numbers were down. Some players were ineligible. There was injuries. Birmingham's a very powerful team. They're the number 4 seed in the open division, so they just didn't want to play their rivals. So it's kind of sad. I've been to a couple city games this year. Angelou had 20 kids. I saw a game this week, Contreras beating Belmont. Belmont played hard, but they had 18 kids and lost in the fourth quarter. The numbers are really down in the city, and for a team like Taft to have only 17 players is amazing. Now we got to talk about the Garfield-Roosevelt game, because Garfield's won it for the 9th straight year. They won the league title for the 9th straight year. They won the Eastern League. They just have too many good players. The score's a little misleading. Garfield got out to a quick 28-0 lead and never looked back. The Bulldogs is just too strong for the Rough Riders, but it is good to see that Roosevelt's improving in terms of the overall program at their school. So, but Garfield's still too strong. Narbonne fortifies their number 1 spot in the city section. Believe it or not, this was for the Marine League Championship. Carson gets the number 3 seed in the open division. This game was only 7-0 at halftime, so they played well for a long time. Then Narbonne's athletes took control and won the game easily, 41-7. But Carson's the number 3 seed in the open division. And then this was for the Coliseum League title. Both Dorsey and Crenshaw had come on strong, poor pre-league seasons, both undefeated in the Coliseum League. Dorsey played the better game. They, by winning this game, became the number 1 seed, just missing the open division. They were the 9th ranked team in the computer, thus they're number 1 in D1. But in the open division, I love these brackets. Now, this won't start until a week from Friday the 9th, right? We got Venice, Narbonne. Venice has a great passing attack. They don't have the defense to slow Narbonne down, but it should be a good game. San Fernando, Birmingham is for the Valley Championship, really, and a right probably to meet Narbonne in the semis. Garfield, undefeated, goes to Carson, who has a 5-5 record. Garfield's 10-0, and it's Garfield on the road. Then Pali's great defense against a powerful, undefeated Eagle Rock team.
Randy, I was surprised because we were in the green room. Bob was saying, man, how come the city section's starting a week later? What's the deal? How come they're starting a week later?
Well, they want to catch up to the rest of the divisions. They only have 8, and the other, you'll see these other brackets, they have 16. So there's a week layoff so they could all catch up and they get an opportunity to get a breather. By the way, that Birmingham-San Fernando game will be played at Pierce College. That's going to be the home for Birmingham, I guess, in the playoffs, because they don't have a field right now. They've been a road team all season long. We were mentioning Dorsey being the number 1 seed off of their win in the Coliseum League. There's Westchester, Reseda, and Fairfax. Those are the top 4 seeds in the division in D1. This is interesting. It's a very good bracket. Then in D2, you got Franklin. You know, the Panthers only lost 1 game this year. That was to Eagle Rock. Franklin owns a win over Wilson, who's also out of the Northern League. Canoga Park had some really nice early season wins, including one against Grant, who won the East Valley League. And the East Valley League runner-up, Arleta, is the number 4 seed. Bill Cohn does a terrific job there. And they always have a very stout defense and a great running attack. So Arleta is the number 4 seed. Bill Cohn is the coach who tutored and coached Matt Castle at Chatsworth. He's been around. He's been around for a long time. Bill Cohn, good guy too.
Interesting.
And in tennis, I got to throw this out because it's going to be come up as well. Those are your 2 top seeds. Palisades is always the most dominant team in the LA City section. Pali figures to win it, but Granada Hills, there's a lot of great tennis players in the Valley, but Pali always wins championships.
All right. Anything else, Randy? That's it for the city section report?
That's pretty much it. We went through it. I mean, we went through it pretty quickly there. But yeah, I think it's fun because I love the open division.
Right.
This year we have, 2 through 8. If you get Narbonne, 2 through 8, any of those teams could come out. The other key thing about the open division, they're going to get 2 teams into the regionals. They won't take the Division I winner. The Division I winner, let's say it's Dorsey, let's say the number 1 seed wins it, they won't go to a regional bowl. But the first and runner-up position in the open division, they're the ones that are going to go to the regionals.
Yeah. All right. That's the city section report. Roseman's going to stay around because we're going to talk more southern section. Let's get to it. Take a look at bracket number 4, I believe we should be coming up on, and take a look at the playoff pairings there. And, of course, Bob, you're the kiss of death for everybody. Stop picking my favorite teams here. All right, Redondo, Corona Del Mar has just had one of those seasons. They moved up a division. Man, they're in that Sunset League, so they're tested for the playoffs. I like Corona Del Mar a lot. You got some good schools in there, Chino Hills, Yorba Linda, Chaparral, Oak Hills. Those guys are out in the Temecula Valley, Murrieta area. But, man, there is just some good football played here. I am going to go with Corona Del Mar to run the upper end of Division 4.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Corona Del Mar comes out of there. I think in round 2, the Yorba Linda Chino Hills winner could give them a little bit of a run, but I don't think that'll happen. I'm more interested in the bottom half of the bracket when we get to that, because I think that's where a lot of the fun matchups really reside. But I'm with you, Corona Del Mar.
Randy, they took away the lower bracket so you can't see it, but what are you thinking? What were you thinking about?
Well, I was thinking about Camarillo. Scorpions have had some great
right.
teams in recent years. They don't get a whole lot of love in Southern California. They're up in the Ventura County area, and I think the Scorpions have a good football team. Whether they get to the semis or not, I don't know, but they are talented.
I'm going with Villa Park in the lower bracket all the way, fellas. You guys pick.
This is all about Villa Park. Villa Park's going to run this entire thing. They'll be the C.I.F. champions coming out of this. I don't see a team that can touch Villa Park in this division.
Yeah,
I can't argue.
All right, let's go to Division 5 now. Let's have a look around, see what it be. And in Division 5, okay, this is Los Altos, Aquinas. You got Harvard, Westlake, Pella. Look at these teams, guys. Look at these teams in this division. It's all over the place.
Glendora's 9-1. They're right in the middle of the division. I could see Glendora, making a move and getting there in the top end as well. But they got Burbank. Burbank's had a good year. So I mean, these round 1 matchup. I think the C.I.F. Southern Section really did a nice job of finding some really good first round matchups this year.
I think Palos Verdes has been a terrific team over the last few years. They're always well coached. Don't discount the Sea Kings. They play good football.
I know nobody wants to hear this, but in the lower bracket, I'm going with St. Paul all the way. I mean, it's like Ansich days are back.
I was going to say.
They're 9-1. Nobody's touched them. When Marion Ansich coached there, he won a CIF championship in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the O's. He's still winning them, and he's retired. I mean, he retired as the winningest football coach in the state of California, and his team's back, even though he's not coaching. But it's the legacy. He's national champion too in '66 and '67.
It is nice to see St. Paul back on the map here in Southern California.
And Lawndale's had a really good year. They played Narbonne very tough, and they're just a good football team with a great running attack. So don't discount Lawndale on that upper bracket there, and see how they do.
All right, let's continue on. Division 6 now, Tustin, South Hills. Oh, wow, we have a No Love Club member in here. Of course, we have Woodrow Wilson. We have Wilson High School out in Hacienda Heights, Miracosta, Mayfair, Ayala, and Pacifica Fullerton. Man, this is loaded. South Hills has got to be the cream of the crop. Mayfair's going to be in the semis with South Hills.
Yeah, this will be chalk here. I think South Hills will run this, and I don't see anybody getting in the way of South Hills here.
Right.
It's just a superior football program there.
We all agree on that.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the lower bracket. Oxnard versus Palmdale, Silverado, West Ranch, Cypress, Serrano. You can't put your finger on it because these guys all play everywhere. Oxnard's in Ventura, Palmdale, you know where that's in northern LA as further as you can go. You got Silverado, West Ranch. I mean, this thing's all over. Palmdale, Huntington Beach, those are my obvious choices here.
I'm going to take I'm going to take Cypress coming into the bottom end here.
Okay.
I'm going to take Cypress on
Randy,
just a dart in the board there.
Well, I've only seen one of these teams in person this year, and believe it or not, it was Silverado. And a lot of good athletes, but they had a lot of penalties thrown against them. They weren't as disciplined as I would have liked. And when you get into the playoffs, you can't make those kind of mistakes and get penalized like that. But Silverado's got a lot of great athletes, and they could be dangerous on any given night.
For us not being able to see those Desert Valley teams, it's tough for us to really assess them. But I do know a lot about Huntington Beach and Palmdale as well. Palmdale's a pretty big high school, man. Yeah, I haven't seen them play this year, but they have a good reputation. Continuing on, Division 7, the upper bracket, as it were. Northview, Covina, number 1 seed. They're number 1 in everything they do up there. I don't know what's going on in the water up there, but they're a great wrestling program. Yeah, everything going on up there. Culver City, Santa Barbara, Milliken, Pacific. Now, Milliken is a huge school. Milliken High School has like 17,000 students in it. Truthfully, they got about 4,800. That's a lot. Think about it. In this bracket, I got to go with Northview. I like Warren because that's where the guy from Paula ended up, Raul Lara.
Raul Lara ended up Warren.
And he
Yeah,
turned
you're
that
absolutely
program
right,
around
yep.
from like a 1-9 to a playoff team the follow 8-2 the
He
following
did.
year, and he's still there doing a good job.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the Long Beach Poly athletes there.
No, he does not. You're right.
Doesn't have those athletes.
Yeah, but maybe he's getting them somewhere. Somehow they're getting to Downey. Anyways, can we go back to upper bracket real quick of Division 7? Here we go.
I like Culver
Take your
City.
pick.
I mean, Culver City's been in a lot of shootouts this year.
Yeah.
So we know they're going to score some points. So,
Second seed.
yeah, I like Culver City there. I think they're going to get all the way to the championship game.
That if it is Northview Culver City, that's going to be a fun matchup.
Well,
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Culver City, second seed in the upper bracket. They're 4th overall, so they could be there. Anybody in the top 4 can make it. Let's go to Division 8 now, upper bracket. Have a quick look at what's going on. That's Division 9. Oh, I think 8 we had to kind of pull out ourselves, but let's take a look at Division. There it is. No, 8.
Bottom half
there
of
it
Division
is.
7.
It's our No Love Club special. Our number 1 team from the No Love Club, Catella, taking on Summit. I'm then you have to read the rest. I'm going with Catella, the defending state champions, fellas.
Yeah, I don't see anybody here that can give Catella any run because they've been awesome. This
Summit's
last
probably going to
year.
pound them now, Bob, because you said that.
You
Summit's
think I
gonna
give him the
win.
whammy? No,
Yeah, you did.
even I couldn't give Catella the whammy.
All right, well,
It,
couldn't you, Randy?
it won't
Can't
be
be done.
royal, but it'll be royalty for Catella because they are going to win the
Yeah.
division.
I'm going
They
to
are-
take Kaiser on the bottom half here.
Really?
well,
You
let's
like
see it.
Kaiser.
I like Kaiser.
All right, you got.
There it is. There's Kaiser.
It's not
and
your
I-
hospital, is it?
Now, it used to be Kaiser Steel, but that's what the school now sits on what the Kaiser Steel plant was. Fountain Valley, Santa Ana. Listen, Fountain Valley, man, any team that gets beat by 70 points doesn't deserve to even be mentioned in this thing, which Fountain Valley got dusted this year by, I forgot who it was, but they lost Baylor. I think it was Los Alamitos. But anyways, looking at the rest of it, yeah, I got to go back up to the upper bracket. Take a quick look. Back it up one, fellas. But anyways,
Catella's gonna.
Catella should
nobody's-
dominate it.
No, but nobody's taking down Catella in this division. That's just the bottom.
all right, Division 9. Another interesting matchups, guys. Monrovia, Palm Desert. How far away are those guys? San Gorgonio and Big Bear, a little closer to each other. In this division, Palm Desert's the number 1 seed. I like Big Bear anyway, though, man. I'm just going to go with Big Bear, Bob. You can pick anybody else you want in this thing.
I'm with you. I get it. Palm Desert's the top seed, but I until further notice, Big Bear's the team to beat.
Yeah, Big Bear's
I'm
been
with
in
you on this one.
our No Love Club all
Yeah.
season long. They've had a terrific record, and the Bears are always ready to play. So I think Big Bear's got a great chance. Whether they get there or not, I'm not sure, but they are good.
In the lower bracket, I'm just flipping a coin, man, because Heritage Christian's the only other No Love Clubber that's in there now. They are the second seed in this whole thing. So I'm going to go with them.
I'm going with Montebello because our boy Coach Anthony White is from Montebello High School.
No,
We
he
love
went to
Coach White.
Rosemead.
Oh, you're right. He went
With the
Rosemead. You're right. He
Rosemead,
went to
man.
Rosemead.
I was supposed to go to Montebello, but
Never
we
mind.
moved in time.
I'll go
Yes.
to the penalty box for that
Yeah,
one.
you're
I'll go
out.
for Montebello
You're
because
right, he went
Rich
to
almost
Rosemead.
went to Montebello.
you.
So
Or
I'll
I'm
go with that.
picking Montebello anyway. Give me
I moved
Montebello.
like in the second
with
grade,
Montebello.
though,
Give
fellas.
me
I was out of
Montebello.
that
Just
neighborhood
because I got
quick.
stuck in my head.
Yes, sir. All right, very good. Let's move down to Division 10 now.
Penalty box for me tonight. Ay, ay, ay.
All right, Bob, your alma mater, South Down Monty taking on Highland.
right.
Highland, the number 1 seed. Simi Valley taking on Ojai Nordhoff, followed by Rubydale Hillcrest and Rancho Christian and Bonita. Fellas, Highland's the big favorite. I don't see any reason they don't win this thing. Highland is pretty good, fellas. They're pretty good.
I'm just happy to see Simi Valley there. They haven't gotten to many playoffs over the years. The Pioneers have not been noted for their football program over the past few years, and they've had some great baseball teams at Simi Valley High School, but it's great to see their football team involved.
Carlos will tell me, he'll back me up on this. It's all about Pete Knight. Pete Knight High School. I've been saying it all year long. Pete Knight High.
I'm still
In
going to stick with
Division
Highland.
10.
You can have them.
I'll
They're
take
yours.
Pete Knight.
I like El Rancho too, but they're not going to win.
What did I say about Knight the last time? That's where Paul George went to school. And
That's
then,
right.
then they went out and lost.
See?
So,
Right.
they're dangerous, but I don't think Knight will get there all the way. I don't think it's going to happen.
I say what I just said about El Rancho simply because these other schools are pretty big. These are some football schools, you know. The way they mix them up, though, I do like the brackets. I do like the way they've mixed it all up. All right, Patriot Western, Jurupa Hills, Maranatha, Beaumont, taking on 29 Palm, Pasadena, Santa Paula. Man, I haven't had a chance to see any of these schools this year. Tried to read a little bit about it today. I'm throwing a dart right now. I have to go with Santa Paula.
Well, my
Just for
first
fun.
high school play-by-play job before you guys were born was 29 Palms. So I don't know anything about them this year, but the fact that they were good to me when I was just starting out in the industry, I got to go for 29
All right.
Palms.
You can't
go
go
for
wrong with
29
that.
palms?
Bob, who are you going to destroy? Whose dream are you going to kill right now? You're going to kiss to death, man. You really are. He is.
My research has told me that Maranatha
All right.
out of Pasadena.
I can't
Really?
argue
And you
with that.
researched that, huh?
I was down in the bunker all day long. Couldn't figure out where.
This is Bob's
where
research.
Coach White went to high
Bob's
school.
got
You were
it.
golfing? You were in a bunker in a golf or what?
Bob has a
got me now.
dartboard. Bob has a dartboard, and
right.
he puts the brackets up there, and he just heaves darts.
I put them all on a slip of paper. I throw
He
them in a
does.
fishbowl and I reach around.
He's done that, too.
Hey,
He's done that, too.
Maranatha.
Probably got holes in his wall from the darts, though.
He's also picked schools based on the snack bar. Based on the
Ooh,
snack
that's been
bar.
done.
Absolutely.
That's been done.
Birmingham
All
got
right,
a great
Division
that.
12, Mary Star of the Sea. Is that like Chicken of the Sea or something like that? You know? All right, Linfield Christian, Pacific taking on Bell Gardens, banning against Xavier Prep, Nogales Glen. Wow, this is a tough one. Really got to tell you. But I'm going to root for the Eagles, man. John Glenn has not been in the playoffs since 1989. Think about that. A lot of people in this room right now weren't even born in 1989, myself included. So it's been a long time since the Eagles got there.
Well, one of the great lines in the history of communications was when John Glenn was in outer space. They said, Godspeed, John Glenn. So I got to go with Glenn.
All right, good enough.
I'm going to go Laguna Beach, who call themselves the Breakers. Used to be the Artists. They should be called the Artists again. They should go back to the Laguna Beach Artists, but they're the Breakers for some reason now. I'll take the Breakers.
Boy, this is great football knowledge in this bracket, isn't
We're
it?
doing it great, man. Throw
Laguna
snack
Beach has
bars
got a
in
good
there.
football team. They've had a good football program there for a long time. There was a long time where Laguna Beach High School used to get the tar kicked out of them every single week.
Bob,
Laguna Beach is a good football program now.
How is
Been
it
that way.
Artesia got the fourth seed? Is that the third seed? That's the fourth. That's the third seed. How did they get the third seed in this thing?
They're the number one. They're the 605 league champions.
Man, that's amazing.
They won the 605
And John
league.
Glenn got in too. All right, Division 13. Division 13. Just a foot over there, Randy. Bob, get this thing straightened
I
out
like
here.
getting close to Bob.
I
like
know.
that.
I know.
I'm
It's- we're
pushing him
getting-
over there. I give him
hey,
the shoulder
hey.
forearm every now and then. All right, St. Pius, St. Matthias, El Monte, Fairmont Prep, Calvert. Now we're getting to the really small schools. I'm going to go with El Monte. They deserve it. They need a little love. They could be in the No Love Club, Bob.
Yeah, I think El Monte should have been in the No Love Club
right.
all season long. I think they feel a little slighted.
Randy?
right.
right.
haven't seen any
Randy's
of these
throwing a
schools,
dart.
so I'm throwing a dart.
He's like Bob, throwing a dart. I throw a dart too. All right, looking at the bottom bracket, man, it's another dart throw. I'm going to go. I'll go with St. Bernard's. Why not? They're out in Playa del Rey. Bishop Montgomery's in there, but that's a good basketball.
My dart just hit Gary here, so we're going with Gary.
All right.
I'm going Capo Valley Christian.
All right, very good. All right, those are your 13 brackets. You also saw the city section, so you understand what's going on there. Now, we did talk about, Division I, Division II. Division II probably is the most fun division because it's really greatly unknown. We don't know who's going to win that. So that'll be an interesting division for everybody to keep their eye on. Would like to remind you today's show is sponsored by the KM3 Project. Get on their website, check it out, see what they're doing. It's an organization that helps people live with cancer. Also, yes? Oh, we got one to go? Okay. All right. Talked about the playoffs Division II. This is the North America Scholastic
America,
Esports
right.
Federation. By the way, I was in Las Vegas this weekend, and they have Esports Arena. It's in the Luxor Hotel. They got a big old.
That's nice.
Of course they do.
When you pull into town, that's all you see is Esports Arena, and
Huge.
it looks like the Luxor to me.
Esports
It
is
is the Luxor, but I'm just saying. it
Esports
looks
is
like
the new frontier.
There it is. All right. Like I was saying, guys, Division II is probably the most fun division to watch because we really don't know. We do know that there's 3 teams in Division I that are probably going to be one. One's going to be the odd man out, but it's going to be one of the 3: Mater Dei, Bosco, and or Corona Central.
I think Mater Dei is the odd man out. I'm sorry. I think the Monarchs.
How did they go from national champs to going to be defending national champs to be number 1 to out?
It's a great question.
You picked a Murray. That's the kiss of death. All
It's
right.
tough to sustain championship caliber play.
It is
All right,
indeed.
everybody. I'd like to thank you for joining. We're out of time, man. It's all we had today. All right, on behalf of Randy Rosenblum, Bob Gibson, Robert Strace, and so long from your friends at the SoCal Report. Join us next week for a recap and an update. All right? Catch
good.
you later. Wow.